Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Northern European Esports Masters, or NEEM for short. It's round two. We're here at Rudskogen for the second round, where first round, Germany took over. They showed that having two cars opposed to one makes a massive difference, although the star of the show was Sam Kuyter for the Netherlands. My name is Luke Crane. Hope I find you well. And well, let's take you on a little journey about what this championship is all about. So here we are, the NEEM, the Northern European Esports Masters. It's a GT4 championship. There are 8 nations, 6 rounds of racing and time trials, and 12,500 euros in cash prizes. Make sure that you follow all of the socials below as well. In the Clash of Nations, we've got 8 different nations. We have got ourselves Finland, we've got Germany, we have got Iceland, we have got Luxembourg and the Netherlands, Luxembourg being the lighter shade of blue there in the flag. We've got Norway, we have indeed got ourselves Sweden and the United Kingdom. So those are the people taking part. Well, how do you get involved is the big question I'm sure people are asking right now. Well, here it is. I'll try and explain this the best I possibly can. Each month there is a time trial to get yourself involved. So now I'm going to use a hypothetical number. Say 100 people sign up and get themselves on the time trial leaderboard. You will split then into 5 different tiers. The top 2 from each nation will indeed go to tier 1. Then the top 2 of the second set of 20, because it will be split into percentage. So there's the top 20%, top second 20%, then up to 60%, up to 80%, and up to 100%, thus giving us 5 different tiered abilities. That is the way of you indeed qualifying. So just to put that into layman's terms, P1 and P2 out of 100 people would qualify through to tier 1. P21 and P22 would get themselves into tier 3, and so on and so forth. There are 2 championships, effectively. The National Drivers' Championship, which is based on the time trial. You are battling against your own nation, not anyone else, just your own nation. And then you've got the Overall Nations Championship, which is based on the Clash of Nations racing, which is what we're about to see today. Highest scoring nation wins the title. Well, talking about the highest scoring nation, let's take a look at our championship standings as it stands. And there you go then. So Germany, albeit they didn't win the race last time round, but they had the best 2 finishes. They had 270 points. United Kingdom with 260 points. And the Netherlands, even though they won the race, they managed to indeed be in P3 only. Norway on 160 points, Luxembourg with 40, and Sweden are in 6th with 0 points. So yeah, hopefully that's explained. Any questions, please get yourself in the chat if you would like to. This is exactly how it works in terms of the time trial. So every single month, you get a chance to take part in a time trial, and this is what you could earn by the end of it. So if you're in the top 50 of your own nation, you in December will receive 10 euros. Free cash. Get yourself a couple of beers. Beautiful job. If you're P1, you get 120 euros. So that is just for taking part in the championship. The winner of the whole championship, in terms of the races, the nation will win 2,500 euros. So that, indeed, 1,250 euros is for every single nation. So if you're the number 1 in Norway, you'll get yourself 120 euros. If you're the number 1 in the UK, you get yourself 120 euros. So head to neem.gg and get signed up if you want to get yourself involved in the next round. Talking of rounds, round 1 was in May. We had that done and dusted. That was in Spa. In round 2, it was Rudskogen, which we are doing right now today. So we've got 11 drivers, I think, in tier 1. 3 of them, unfortunately, not able to turn up. Round 3, there's a bit of a break now between, indeed, this month and September the 30th. That will be the race. The 11th to the 24th will be the qualifying time. In round 4, it will be October the 9th to the 22nd for the race to be on October the 28th. In round 5, November the 6th to the 19th will be the time attack. Then November the 25th will be race day. And then the final race of the season, a couple of days before Christmas. A nice chance to earn yourself a little bit of cash before Christmas Day, with the time trial being a couple of weeks prior. We are at Rudskogen Motorsenter. The weather conditions are going to be generated. It's going to be nice and sunny, of course. Race duration is basically like a VRS race, 40 minutes. They do have a mandatory pit stop, but you only have to change 4 tyres. That's the only mandatory thing. It's a fixed setup, and fast repairs, well, it's off. So don't get yourself involved in any incidents. Otherwise, you're going to have yourself in a little bit of trouble. And we just saw there, it's only GT4s. We are here then for our qualifying session. So they're almost out laps here. Stefan Kjelvik, they're making a bit of a mistake with that Norwegian livery. All of our cars have got the big flags on top of the car today, which I'm very excited about. I want them to be obnoxious and go, I'm representing my country. I love my country. So it's, yeah, great to see that they've got those big flags on the top of the car. The onboard here, there's not much you can really see. We're actually looking now on board with Thibaut Prevost. He's representing Luxembourg with the 2 cars this time around. There's Sam Keitel then, who indeed won the race last time out at Spa. He's in the McLaren. Looks like he's doing a very slow out lap here as to not overheat the tyres. I'm wondering whether he actually might decide to do a double out lap, which is something that's been quite prevalent in the official races on iRacing recently. So if you're seeing them go slow for 2 laps, that means they're just trying to get their tyres into the best possible state to get their best possible time. Matt Caruana, who was right at the sharp end at the start of the race last time out, but managed to drop down into 5th position, did fight his way back up, but it wasn't quite enough. Daniel Moot then with the fastest lap as it stands at 25.345. Prevost is 9 hundredths further back. We've then got Kirkiper, who is, well, a further 9 hundredths back. Then we've got Handel and we've got Meyer, who have indeed put the lap times down. So 5 times have been posted as it stands. But again, we're not really going to see a big representation of lap times until the second time around. We're on board then with Sam Keitel down through turn number 3. And as quickly as you finish turn number 3, you enter turn number 4. It's a very, very unique start to a race circuit, I can assure you of that. Now we come through what can only really be described as similarly to the Suzuka S's, heading up then towards turn number 8, which is a hairpin. Good overtaking opportunity if you can set yourself up and set another driver in front of you a little bit offline through the S's. Now we're heading along the straight. We've got a little bit of a kink there. That's turn 9 officially. Another really good overtaking opportunity, downhill braking zone, trying to grab as much curb as possible, hold the inside line, and ultimately you're forcing drivers to go around the outside if they want to make a move. Down through turn number 11, then another harsh braking zone, which is turn number 12. And then we come up to what it can only really be described as a bit of a carousel corner. There's a left-hander, and then it's just sweeping right-hander. So if you can get close enough to someone around the final corner and set them off into a defensive move on the early part of it, they will run wide on the exit, and there's an opportunity to indeed potentially make a move up towards turn number 1. I'm sure that Sam Keitel will be one of the times to beat, and wow, there it is. It's a tenth and a half quicker than everybody else so far at 24.796, but still with one more effort to go. That's a lap then of Rudskogen. Are we going to see anyone improve here? Well, Sam Keitel will not improve. He has decided to call it there. That is session over for Keitel. Kirkipa is currently in 2nd. We then got Moot as Caruana does posted up into 2nd. He is 69 thousandths of a second off of the pace then in P2. Kirkipa in 3rd, then Moot is in 4th. We then got Ward in 5th, Meyer in 6th position. 7th then for Kjelvik, Prevost in 8th, Schwartz in 9th. We then got Wilhelmsen in 10th position, and Handel as your 11th car down in 11th position. So only a few minutes to go as we're on board with Matt Caruana. It might be an idea to have a little bit of an outside view of the cars and have a look at this track here. There we go. Beautiful scenes here at Rudskogen, or Rudskogen, should I say. Matt Caruana may be looking to improve just a little bit more time to find, and you're going to get yourself onto pole position. It's only 7 hundredths of a second separating our front 2. So Caruana halfway through the lap as it stands. No mistakes need to be made from this point onwards. In towards the left-hander then, which is turn 13. And now around that final long-winded turn number 14. Can Caruana get a second pole position of the Clash of Nations? He'll definitely want to lead into towards turn number 1, a post not last time round. Across the line then for Matt Caruana. Is there any improvement here? We're about to see the time change. Well, there is. It's by 6 thousandths of a second, but it's not enough. Sam Keitel is going to be on pole position, ladies and gentlemen cars. So get yourselves involved in the chat if you're watching, wherever you're watching. Let me know who you're supporting. Maybe you've got a nation you're supporting. Maybe indeed you've got a preferred driver that you're supporting. So all is allowed here in our Clash of Nations. Still 3 minutes to go in the session. So let's maybe take a look at how you guys can potentially get involved in the future. There's a big break between now and September, which is round number 3. But here we go. This is the calendar. Head to NEEM.gg. If you are part of the 8 nations, we'll go and look at the nations after this, so you can check whether you are indeed available to come and race. But yeah, we have got ourselves 6 rounds. September's the next time that the time trials do indeed begin. Round 4, round 5, round 6 are in October, November, and December. And of course, you can see there the Clash of Nations races are indeed the dates set on the right-hand side of your screen. But let's check out what nations are taking part in this championship. So if you are a member of Finland, if you are German, if you are from Iceland, if you are from Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, or the United Kingdom, go and get yourself involved, because you can just earn money by doing the time trial. So if we check out the actual prize pool status just for the time trial, there we go. Look, if you are the top 50 in the series by the end of December, so by the way, getting involved as early as possible gives yourself the best possible chance of that. You will indeed just win money just by being the top 50 of your nation. You will indeed earn yourself some money. It is basically free cash if you're quick on iRacing. It is as simple as that. So yeah, head to neem.gg, get yourself signed up, and maybe we'll be commentating on yourselves racing around our circuits during this championship. So 1.5 minutes to go. Say welcome to everybody watching around the world. Hopefully you are well. But the best part about this is not only do you earn money, if you manage to get yourself into the top 2, in the top 20%, if you get yourself in the top 2 of the second set of 20%, you will get to represent your nation. So nothing better than having, that obnoxious flag from your country on your car, jetting around one of your favorite race circuits, going, yeah, I'm from the UK and I'm racing for the UK. I'm German, I'm racing for the Germans, which I do indeed love to see. The Germans are currently winning right now, 270 points. They are 10 clear then of the United Kingdom. Netherlands then are in 3rd position as it stands, 10 points further back than Norway. A little bit of a gap then between them and the Netherlands. We've then got Luxembourg on 40, and then the other 3 nations are yet to score. United Kingdom have only got 1 driver today, so only 1 driver for the United Kingdom, which does give the Netherlands, who are currently in 3rd, a big opportunity because they have 2 drivers. Handel is in P11, Kaitet's up P1. In terms of the Germans, though, I believe they've only got 1 driver as well. So the Germans have only got Daniel Moot racing. So the Netherlands, again, with a big chance. If Sam Kaitet can get a big result here today, there is an opportunity for him to genuinely close that gap at the top. So, yeah, it'll be funny. It'll be fun to see how the standings do indeed look by the end of this then. 5 seconds to go. 40 minutes of racing. So they have 1 mandatory pit stop they do have to serve. We saw last time out of Spa that the longer you stay out, the better off you are, and they have to change all 4 tyres. Here is your starting grid then for round 2 of the Clash of Nations Tier 1 race. Sam Kaitet on the front row with Matt Caruana. We have then got ourselves Kirkipa. It's got a long name, with Daniel Moot then in 2nd position. Can Iceland get some big points today with that 3rd position? We've then got Samuel Ward representing Sweden next to Anders Meyer on the 3rd row of your grid. Meyer representing Norway. The next Norwegian then is Stefan Hjelvik in 7th position. We've then got Thibaut Prevost in 8th spot. We've got Frederik Schwartz in 9th. And then we have got Wilhelmsen in 10th position. Niels van Handel, the Dutchie, is in 11th position. So a big chance here for the likes of Norway, maybe Iceland to get some decent points on the board, Luxembourg as well. But yeah, in terms of the big hitters, Germany only got 1 car. United Kingdom only got 1 car. Netherlands, they do have 2 cars. So if you get a position in this race, you've got to race, man. You're letting your nation down by not racing. It really is as simple as that. If you qualify for this race, you've got to get yourself involved, or at least bring a contingency plan in and let the guy in 3rd place know, because having 2 cars is absolutely massive for that €2,500 euros at the end of the season. Right. 40 minutes of action then coming your way. Rolling start. Pace car will take us around the final few corners, and then we are good to go. Like I said, it's like a VRS race. It's about 40 minutes of action. Well, I say it's about 40 minutes of action. It's exactly 40 minutes of action. And they do have to serve 1 mandatory pit stop. Last time out, the racecraft was absolutely incredible. We've got more cars this time round. I'm hoping that we do indeed see similar. Maltz, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you, brother. We've got Rigo as well, Naf. more normal than usual, welcome. So get yourselves involved in the chat, guys, if you're wherever you're watching from. But it will be Sam Kiter on pole position, looking to make it 2 wins from 2 in the Clash of Nations. Caruana will just be looking to get a decent start. 2 McLarens on the front row. Then got a BMW in behind and a Porsche. So we've got 2 British cars. Then we've got 2 German cars just in behind. And then, well, just to make it fair, at the back, in the third row, we've got a British car and a German car with an Aston Martin and a BMW. Round the final sweeping corner. Kiter, is he going to go early? Is he going to go early? Caruana there wants to be a little bit closer, I think. The pace car is in. It's now up to Sam Kiter when he goes. As we're about to head up then towards the start-finish line. The orange car then on pole position, the blue one in second position. We are green light racing here, and Caruana has actually got a very good start. It's 3 wide in the background as we see a Norwegian BMW trying to get involved. And as we come around turn number 1, I tell you what, Matt Caruana has got the lead of this race, so it's the complete opposite of what happened last time round in Spa. He lost the lead and went down to P5. This time round, he leads out. Great start then from the Brit. Although as we come down then towards turn number 3 and indeed 4, Sam Kiter trying to find a bit of a run down the inside there, but it's too fast really. It's not really a harsh enough braking zone to make any inroads. As we come then through turn number 4 down towards the S's, it's a very good start actually from Caruana. Germany then currently in P3 with Schwartz as well. Great stuff as we head over the hill, sweeping left-hander. And actually, if anything, Sam Kiter is under more pressure than moving forward in this race. Caruana has made a beautiful start. Bit of a gap to work with. He got to manage the tyres, although you've got to change all 4. So you see a potential lunge in the background there from the Luxembourg car. Nothing doing there. We go a little bit further back then. And well, actually, it's a mistake there from Wilhelmsen. He's going to hold that inside line. Van Handel not going to be quite close enough to take advantage. And actually has to play the patient waiting game. As we head towards that final corner, we're about to get the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen for Daniel Moot. I said it, Schwartz's Moot then. Moot is ahead of Anders Meyer for 3rd position. I'll tell you what, that German BMW is looking very quick indeed. Caruana then with a nice gap to work with, 0.6 of a second. It's the dream start for him. Beautiful stuff as Meyer not quite close enough. I tell you, Sam Kiter might be in a little bit of trouble here, although he will be looking after the tyres to a certain extent. But that McLaren in a straight line with a fixed setup is actually very, very quick indeed. So Caruana leads to Kiter. Muth is in 3rd position. We then got Meyer, Prevost, and Kirkipar as your top 6. Ward, Schwartz, Hjelvik, Handel, and Wilhelmsen are your 11 cars as it stands then. The 2 McLarens at the front, then we've got 3 BMWs and a Porsche. So we go a bit further back then. And actually, that's Wilhelmsen, isn't it? So yeah, it was Handel. Who was Handel battling with? I think Handel was battling with somebody else as we go up. Well, there we go. So that is Handel. Handel was battling with Hjelvik, potential. No, yeah, it was Hjelvik. So Hjelvik there in the Norwegian BMW. So that was the 2 we're seeing. The front 10 are very close to each other indeed. Not a lot to choose between a lot of them here. Caruana making a little bit of a mistake. You've got the lead Norwegian car then of Meyer making a little bit of a mistake. Not really being punished for it though. There's a nice cluster of cars there. Luxembourg, Finland. You've also got Sweden in the background there. Again, you can tell by the liveries of the car. Bright red, it's Norway. You've got the turquoise car there, it's Luxembourg, or light blue. You've then got the dark blue, it's Finland. You've got an even darker blue, it's the UK. You've got the yellow, it's Sweden. Some really, really nice liveries. You see a new fastest lap. Sam Kiter then starting to figure himself out in P2. Say the first lap, just dropped off the pace of Caruana, but now is into a rhythm, got the tyres nice and warm, hasn't really put too much pressure through them. So should be able to manage the first stages of this race a little bit nicer than Caruana. Caruana would have had to have pushed to get that gap. We head then down towards turn number 3, a little bit further back then. Van Handel in behind this group here. Stefan Hjelvik, who did very well in an Aston Martin, I believe. So that's the beauty of the championship. Each week you can change, or each month you can change what car you use. You can choose a preferred vehicle. The 2 UK drivers, albeit we've only got one of them, Caruana here in the McLaren, the other driver chose the Aston Martin, so they would have had 2 different cars on the grid. So yeah, it is all about personal preference. I think right now, for me personally, I think the Porsche is probably the best overall car. In terms of raw pace, the McLaren is probably the best GT4 car on iRacing as it stands, although it is a little bit more track dependent. I've just done a lot of Watkins Glen this week. Right, on lap number 3, we're on board then with Kirkipart, trying to keep Samuel Ward at bay. The battle of the Scandinavians, Finland versus Sweden, blue versus yellow. And as it stands, Kirkipart holds on to the lead of this little gap here, little battle. Caruana still leads the actual race, and actually is now done the fastest lap of that race. Akaita pushing Caruana to go faster and faster. I'm sure this race will develop a little bit more. We've got Moot in 3rd position, but it looks like we've got a replay of a potential incident. It's a little bit further back then. So that's Schwartz. Schwartz, he's got a slow down penalty. That would have been for cutting track somewhere. And actually, he would have dropped down now to the back of the order. So Schwartz has dropped all the way down, although Wilhelmsen is in P11. So Schwartz now down to P10. It was Handel and Kjelvik who managed to gain themselves some free spots there for their nations and some free points. Through the S's then, Caruana still in the lead of the race in that number 1 car. Again, someone who chooses number 1. It's so obnoxious. It's the first ever season of the NEEM Championship, and you're already choosing a number 1 car. Oh, I love the confidence. And right now, he's backing up that confidence, although that is it looked like it was going to be a slightly missed apex on entry, but it's a nice wide entrance on the power, nice and early, still keeping Kaita at bay. Kaita is starting to close back in. Moves then in P3, not far behind at all in the BMW. And for me, if the BMW hasn't made a move this early stages of this race, it might be in a little bit of trouble to catch up a little bit later on. I think the tyres are going to go off a little bit quicker. Maybe the second stint will be close to a car in front. There's an opportunity. We've seen drivers try and do the undercut. That doesn't tend to work. It's the overcut that really works from what we saw at Spa. So staying out as long as you possibly can is the best plan of action. But there will be a couple of drivers here as Matt Caruana now does another fastest lap at 25.0. It's a lovely old job there from Caruana. Looks like we've got a crash also here. So there's Niels van Handel. Oh dear. Well, he's into the pits. Yeah, that's maybe just trying to get off the strategy of everybody else, but it's early. A little bit early. Oh, he just spins. Oh, he's overheated the tyres, that's for sure. Yeah, it makes sense. Bring that car in, get a fresh set of rubber on. You're going to be doing a long stint now, though. The second half of this race, or we're not even a quarter of the way through here. But yeah, that is going to be a very long race indeed for Handel. Pit stop should be about 24 seconds if we go back on board with him. Pits 24. No, it's a little bit longer than that. You can see the pits on the bottom of your screen again. If we can just go on board with P11 Handel, checking when he comes out. There we go. It's come out. It's a bit of a long pit stop there. So I'm wondering whether he must have had some optional damage to fix there, where he may have tangled with someone. Because that's a pretty long pit stop in terms of just changing tyres. Yeah, 37.3. Out they'll come. But we'll keep an eye on the pit stops. Maybe that's a pretty legitimate one, in all fairness. Maybe that is a pretty legitimate one. And when everyone else comes to the pits, we'll have the same data to indeed go off. So we're looking at around about a 37.3 second pit stop. Back up to the leaders then. And Kaita is catching up to Caruana. The gap now down to about 0.2 of a second. Look at the rooftops of those cars with their nation's flag on it. I love it. Last time out, we didn't have enough of them on the grid, but this time everybody's decided to go with it. And you represent your country, it's what you want to do, right? Again, welcome to everybody watching, wherever you're watching from around the world. Get yourselves involved, say hello. Barmy, I hope you well do. So we've come through them in towards the S's. We've got the best overtaking opportunity realistically through this part of the course is turn number 10, which we're about to come down towards now. So it's a bit of a long run. And then really the next opportunity is turn 1. It's not the most giving of race circuits in terms of overtakes. But if these drivers can make themselves an opportunity, they absolutely will do so. In towards the final couple of corners then. So the circuit very much reminds me of the start and the end of Oschersleben. Especially the start turn 1, a sharp left, and then you're going pretty much round, back on yourself. And then you've almost got the reverse. Well, I guess it's not even reverse, it's exactly the same for the end of the lap as well. So Rudskogen, a very unique circuit. Front 2, by the way, has started to drive away, and if you're a BMW driver, by being in P3, Muth or Meyer, you're looking at the front 2 and you're like, we need you to really start going side by side. And I think the beauty of the two drivers that are in front, Caruana and Kaita, they will cost each other time. They will fight each other. It won't be a case of Caruana lets Kaita go. I think the UK, having only one driver on the grid, need to win this race. There's no two ways about it. I know that Handel's not doing a great job in terms of backing up Kiter, but he's in this race. He's going to score points. So, yeah, right now, the pressure really is on the United Kingdom and Germany as well. They're both P1 and P2 as it stands in the championship. Kiter didn't have a second driver last time out. Even though he went and won the race, it still put them P3. So, yeah, having two cars in this is absolutely vital. So I'm sure there are people watching from the UK thinking, oh, I could go there and back up Caruana. He doesn't seem to really ever have someone helping him out. As we see him move in the background, now we're going to see it stick. We are, I think, Meyer and Prevo were having a little bit of a ding-dong together. It's given the opportunity for Moot just to drive away. And now look who's catching up then a little bit further back. So we've got Kirkipa, the Finn, now right underneath that rear wing of the BMW, the Luxembourg BMW. And then Samuel Ward, also for Sweden, getting himself involved. So this group of 4 cars would almost cover them with a blanket. They're that close. As we end then the first 10 minutes of this race, still got ourselves 3/4 of it to go. And you've just got to be, a little bit careful. This might be the opportunity for someone like Kirkipa to bring the car in. Again, we know staying out longer helps you, but if you're being slowed down significantly by a group of cars in front of you, you can indeed force that undercut, or you can force them to cover you off by coming in the next lap as well, but maybe have a really quick outlap. And that way, try and catch up. You can see they're very close indeed. Prevo runs a little bit wide, tries to try and cut back in, it just doesn't quite work out. We're going to go a bit further back here then. So this is Wilhelmsen. And just on the power a little bit too early. Had to slam on the brakes just so we don't spin the car. But we're all good. We're still going. We're facing in the right direction. And that's all really you can be hoping for in these races. Yeah, not having the best of times. I wonder, it looks like he might be crabbing a touch. Is there some slight damage to the car? Well, these drivers at the front aren't going to be too worried about that. Kiter now right up behind the McLaren then of Matt Caruana. Round that final corner we will go. I think they've got some lap traffic to deal with. I think that's Wandel. Is there a world here where the Dutch car maybe tries to help his teammate out by being a little bit kinder to Kiter in terms of the lapping, letting the faster cars lap? I don't know. But you can see that the time is being lost then. So the German car then is catching up very quickly indeed. So Moot is very close now. 1 second the difference between P3 and P2. That was at 2.5 at one point. So Caruana maybe starting to struggle at this stage of the race. Kiter just keeping it nice and chilled. Doesn't really need to do anything too crazy. Just sitting in the slipstream of that McLaren in front. Caruana knows that if Kiter is going to make a move, it has to be perfect. It's such a difficult place to make an overtake. And racing these days, in all fairness, it's very difficult to overtake pretty much everywhere. The cars are so overdeveloped at this point. I think that's the one thing that's good about this championship is the fixed setup. Means that they will be using such big rear wing. That punches a big old hole in the air. Might help a Sam Kiter runs a little bit wide. Got to be careful. Don't want to be making any silly mistakes that could potentially cost you. We head then through turn number 8. Now up the hill we come. Still Caruana holding on, and everybody's starting to catch up now. At this stage of the race, Caruana may be going significantly slower. Does anyone decide to blink at this stage of the race? We saw at the halfway point people bringing their cars in. They know they have to change tyres. So they have to suffer the pit stop time in terms of changing tyres. So they don't lose anything to anybody, like unless they've got a little bit of damage that they may have to have fixed. So bringing the car early is not always the worst decision, but it does take a couple of laps to get those tyres up to temperature. Again, especially with the fixed setup. Still though, the lead, United Kingdom, Matt Caruana leading last round's winner, Sam Kiter of the Netherlands. We've then got the German car in 3rd position. Those 3 teams are the top 3 in the championship, but Sam Kiter is almost pushing Caruana through turn number 4. Up the hill we come, up through the S's we come. And Caruana still holds on to that position. Is there a potential for a lunge? Sam Kiter has got to play the clever game. Doesn't really want to cost themselves too much time, so they have to battle with someone else. But you've also got to catch Caruana by surprise, I think, and make a move where he just does not expect it, where he's not going to be defending that inside line. Caruana, though, holding firm as it stands. And there's just no room to maneuver between the two of them. patience being shown here by the Dutchie is very admirable as it stands. He's going to run a little bit wide here, but should get a nice punchy exit. And I tell you what, this might be the opportunity. Caruana, though, does manage to get the power down early enough. They both run wide around that final corner. By the time they come across the line, it is normal service resumed. So it might be an idea to check out the actual championship standings while we're in this locked-in battle, just to show you how close it is between that top three for the championship. I know we're only in round number 2, but it's just starting to show that the top 3 nations are in front. You know, they're the most consistent nations out there. Down in towards turn number 3. There it is. So Germany currently lead this championship. So United Kingdom would leapfrog them. And the Netherlands, with having 2 drivers in this, might leapfrog the both of them. If Sam Keitel wins this race, then, well, that definitely will be the case. So these 3 nations, effectively, although the Netherlands have got a car down in P11, they pretty much have all only got 1 car battling for the race lead or battling for big points. So very interesting to see that they are still going to be battling for this championship. And you see Moot in the background who's just like, oh, do you know what? I am going to wait for these 2 to potentially get involved with each other a little bit too much. Maybe I can make myself an opportunity of an overtake and steal away the win. So the Germans are just waiting to pounce like a panther. The Brits currently lead. I say the Brits, the United Kingdom, 2 different things. And then you've got the Dutchies, who are, well, Sam Keitel patiently waiting for an opportunity, looking to try and open up the final corner and get the power down a little bit earlier than Caruana. But Caruana, each and every time, is even to the plan. We're heading up towards the halfway point of this race. 24 minutes left to go. As we look back then from the rear right wheel of our race leader in that number 1, Matt Caruana. Sam Keitel closes up, almost touching the underside of the McLaren out in front. You've then got the BMW in 3rd spot of Muth, but look who's closing in just in behind. You've got the Norwegian car in his first appearance. We've got Meyer in 4th position. Prevost for Luxembourg is currently in 5th spot. We've then got the Finn Kirkipar in 6th. Then we've got the Swede in Samuel Ward in 7th position. Those 7 drivers have kind of got away as it stands. They're on their own. And then there's another group. I think Hjelvik is the next car, right? So Hjelvik, who of course raced at Spa, it battled really well throughout the entirety of that race. He finds himself in P8. He's in a bit of no man's land, 6 seconds clear of Schwartz. Wilhelmsen's 12 seconds further back. And then Handel, who's 51.8 seconds back off of everybody. Be interesting to see where exactly Handel will filter in. I feel like he would probably filter in the battle for 9th, maybe 10th in between those 2. But Caruana seems like he's been given the hurry-up call because the gap now has come out to about half a second once again. They're pretty much touching throughout the entirety of every lap. But yeah, Caruana has saved a bit of magic. You can see they are catching up to Handel out in front. I think they will pit before we see the lap traffic really get involved. Moot just in behind in that BMW. Meyer, Prevost, Kirkipar and Ward. That's your front 7. So the gap's not really forming. If anything, it's closing down. So that says to me that the front drivers are just managing the situation, not trying to push too much, not trying to do anything too crazy. Ultimately, you're representing your nation here. So this is for your nation's pot. You might not even be the driver that represents them in the final month. It is the top 2 each month in the time trials that will qualify to represent the nation. So right now, Caruana, Keitel, and I believe Hjelvik are the only 2 drivers on the grid, actually, that represent their nation twice. I think Samuel Ward didn't take part in round 1. He was supposed to for Sweden. I need that confirmed in my head. But I'm pretty sure Ward was not there in the race. He did qualify, but he was not there. So, yeah, interesting to see. So ignore that, guys. We're not adding more sources. We're adding more stats to the screen. It is what it is. We're just trying to produce magic on the NEEM broadcast here. Around the final few corners we will go. Gap now up to about 0.7 of a second. Once they come out of the exit of the final corner, it will actually extend to nearly 0.8. And if anything, Meyer starting to really pile the pressure on Moot. I think he realises right now that Moot isn't quick enough to catch up to the front 2, but is there a world where the Norwegian BMW is able to potentially go and close up to Sam Keitel? Looks like Caruana has found a bit more pace once again. We saw this in the first couple of laps. He was able to drive away. Then Keitel closed it back in. And now in this 3rd phase of the race, Caruana's just found a little bit extra. And actually both of them have, if we're honest. As we head down towards turn number 3, BMW, definitely not close enough to make a move. If you do, you just lose so much time. You hemorrhage time to the cars in front. But actually, he's forced Moot to go a little bit defensive here. So Maya, can he get the power down a little bit quicker than the BMW in front? Not quite. And it's kind of normal positions resumed as it stands. And now this is where I'll be making a decision of going, is there an opportunity where I can go in a little bit earlier and maybe make up a couple of spots? But again, it's tough. You've got to change tyres. You have to change all 4 tyres. Down through the hairpin. We will come up towards turn number 11. Sweeping down the hill once again. In towards turn number 13. And around the second of our 2 basically carousels we go. No one's decided to come in early in this race. I reckon they're going to wait till really late in this race. The litmus test was last time round, right? The litmus test was at Spa, where everybody found out that staying out the longest really did gain you the most amount of time. And that seems to be the case here as well at Rudskogen. 19 minutes, 40 seconds left on the clock then. It is from the UK, Matt Caruana who leads. And I think by my mathematics, they would have the lead in the championship because Handel's down in 11th spot. So Handel needs to grab a couple more positions for the Netherlands if the Netherlands are to lead out by the end of today. Keitel will bring the Netherlands back up into 2nd spot. I think they might even be tied with Germany by the end of today. The Germans then will be in sort of a tied 2nd, potentially 3rd position place, although the Norwegians are looking very strong here. The Norwegians have got 2 horses in this race. They've got Meyer currently running in P4, and they've got Kjelvik running in P8. So that's some big points for 2 different cars. It's very important to have 2 cars. The front 3 in the championship just haven't really had that. They've just managed to get massive finishing positions. So if you can have 2 cars modestly finishing week in, week out, or month in, month out, you've got an opportunity of winning the Clash of Nations. Handel isn't really being that caught, if anything. Yeah, the gap is coming down to Wilhelmsen, of course. He's grabbing maybe 3 seconds a lap on Wilhelmsen. But Handel is handling business as it stands. I thought they might get a little bit closer to the back marker than what they have. But yeah, as it stands, a good job indeed. Keitel and Caruana have pulled away now from Moot as we're looking on board then with Handel. So Handel, of course, has pit. So P11, I know it doesn't look good for P11, but has pit already, has had those change of tyres. So that means that, yeah, once everyone else has pitted, Handel will be a lot closer to them. It'll just be interesting to see exactly where they come out. 37.3 second pit stop. Remember that. Keep that in your heads. 37.3. That is the benchmark time that we're looking at. Why is it the benchmark? Well, it's the only time we've seen. So right now, Handel has got the world record for the NEEM Championship at Rudskogen for the quickest pit stop ever. But it's the only one as well. But doing pretty well. Doing pretty well indeed. 25.4 in terms of qualifying. Yeah, 25.4 really is what the race leaders do. It's a Handel. Maybe with that early pit stop, playing himself into an opportunity as we see Kjelvik just drop back behind Kirkepa. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but Kjelvik has just lost a position a little bit further back. Ward, I think, has gained a position. Well, Kjelvik's spinned it, I think, here. Or has he come? No, no, he hasn't pit. No, Kjelvik has chucked it off the track somewhere. For sure. Kjelvik is no longer going, actually. I think Kjelvik might not be in the race. Yeah, he is not here. So it'll be interesting to see what has exactly happened to Kjelvik, who has had, it would have been 2 really good weeks. But doesn't seem like there's any incident there, so it might have been a case of a disconnect. Kjelvik is no longer in this race. Samuel Ward then promoted up a position, up in behind Prevost, racing for Luxembourg. You've then got Maya up ahead as well, so they've all been gifted an extra position. Moot now has got no real pressure from behind. I say that, actually, yes he does. Of course he has Maya and Prevost. It was Kjelvik who was just in behind Ward. So the front 2 separated by absolutely nothing, and then there's a gaggle of 6 cars. By the looks of things, 5 or 6. It's 5 cars. So the top 7 still very close to each other. You've got to nail your pit stop. Once you do decide to come into the pit, you can't afford to be slow, can't afford to make any mistakes. Otherwise, you're going to lose a position, and ultimately, it's very difficult to overtake. We've not seen many overtakes throughout this race so far. I'm not expecting to see many more either. It might have to be done via the pit stop. But again, they're all just waiting for one car to blink. The overcut seems to be the strongest way of doing things. As we head around that final corner. And are we going to see Kaita make a decision? No, we're not. Not Caruana. Do we see a car? Yeah, we do. There's the first one then. So Prevo is the first car to decide to make a pit stop. Ward with an opportunity here. So watch out for Ward. Currently in P5. Watch out for Ward closing up to Meyer. We'll also get to see exactly how long the pit stop is for Thibaut Prevost, the Luxembourg driver. Getting that car stopped. You'll see the ticker start to go off. There we go. And there's the timer. So we're looking at a 37.3 pit stop. That's what we're looking for here. Ward is ahead of Moot. What's happened here? So Moot has dropped back 2 positions. He was P3, and now he's all the way down to P5. So Meyer and Moot, something might have gone awry there. There's definitely lost a position between the two of them. But ultimately, it's now 2 spots dropped. So Moot, during this pit stop phase, has just dropped down. We're going to get a replay exactly what's happened here. But definitely not close enough for this to be a punt. I think this is going to be a mistake. As we go then behind the rocks. Oh, it's a slowdown. Oh, he's got a slowdown penalty. Oh, that's gut-wrenching. So just giving away some freebies. Oh, that's just, yeah, he's going to be furious with himself. Again, a circuit where it's so difficult to overtake. Don't give away freebies. As we come out the pits, a 36.5 then. So that is a new world record. It's 0.8 of a second faster than what we saw previously from Handel. And Prevo is about 15.2 seconds up ahead. So Handel, where are we looking at Handel battling? Maybe with Schwartz. Kirkebert has got past Moot now as well. So Moot is into the pits. So decision made then for Daniel Moot. Has he lost the position to Prevo though? That's the big question. So we're going to get to see these two merge. 36.5 seconds is what we've seen. Are we going to see a new world record pit stop here in the NEEM Championship? That is another question, of course, the world wants to know. So yeah, the car is stopped. So I think Moot wasn't even in the same realms as Prevo in terms of battling, but that slowdown penalty might have put the Luxembourg BMW into play for a potential top 5 finish. Again, keep an eye out for Ward. Ward was about 1.2 seconds behind Meyer. Now he's got that clear air a little bit in front of him, between him and Meyer, and he doesn't have, indeed, the car of Prevo to deal with. Ward may close that gap. A little bit further back, then Wilhelmsen comes into bits. So here we go. We're about to come out. It's a 37.5. Okay, so that is not the quickest time, that's for sure. And there we go. We're about to see it happen, aren't we? Prevo is going to get Moot. That's very interesting indeed then. So that one slowdown mistake, the early pit stop has made a massive difference. So Prevo for the Luxembourg team has, well, the nation, I guess, not team. Team and nation, they can run by both. That has worked out beautifully well for Prevo. And stopping early, is that the play? There was definitely a loss of about 1 second in terms of how quick the pit stop was for Moot. But Prevo, it's about 2. I tell you what, Prevo might be in the hunt for a podium. He might be in a hunt for a podium. I think that all of the drivers in front have to be perfect. I think coming in early might have been the play. He's just done a 25.1. We know that the leaders are doing about 25.4s. So the tyres, of course, is a circuit where they're going to be scrubbing across the tarmac hugely. Maybe Thibaut Prevost is about to throw a bit of a spanner in the works for everybody else. So there is Prevost. I wonder if we're going to see some of the leaders come in. If these leaders have got any kind of engineers in their ears, they are going to be told to come in. The McLarens, by the way, really struggling right now. Meyer closing up that gap, although the fastest lap he's done is 25.039. Which one of these cars decides to come in? I find it very difficult to believe that they all just continue to stay out. I think this is a different way of doing things in terms of Spa. I think Spa worked out, obviously, the long run worked out a lot better for the first stint. But I think they've got to bring it in. I think they've got to try and cover off Prevost. The longer they stay out, it'd be great to see the Luxembourg flag on top of the podium, to be honest. But I think that one of these have to make a decision. None of them have come in. No, none of them have come in. Kirkeper, maybe? No. So this, I think, plays into the hands, even more so, of Prevost. I'm not sure. I think that's the fastest lap time they've produced, the 125.0. I'm not sure that's the last time they've produced it. The difference between last time produced is really what we want to be looking at as we look on board still with the leaders. Caruana, who's led from the start, didn't get pole position, but got a really good run up towards turn number 1. Had to go around the outside, and since then it's held on. It's ebbed and flowed. He's managed to get a gap out to about 9/10 of a second at one stage, but then it keeps coming down to a couple of tenths. Sam Keitel keeping him very honest. He didn't wait this long to make an overtake last time round, but I'm expecting Sam Keitel to try and make something happen at some point. And you've got in behind him the Norwegian of Meyer. A big surprise. Kjelvik, who we think disconnected from the server. The other Norwegian car, they had 2 going for points for Norway. Ultimately, no longer in this race. Through the hairpin they come. Heading up the hill towards turn number 10. And then down in towards number 13 and indeed 14. And once again, 10 minutes to go. Does anybody decide to come in? Wide lines being taken. No one's decided to come. Well, there we go. Okay, so Meyer has decided to come in. So this is now what we're going to see the merge. Prevo, how fast was he? Did Moot just have a really bad in-lap? Did Moot, with that slowdown, really cost him a more significant time than a couple of seconds? That's really the question right now. Thibaut Prevo is being caught by Moot at a rate of knots, by the way. The gap was 2.5 seconds once they come out the pit. So, do you know what? I think the first 5 minutes of fresh tyres is massively quick. Massively quick here. So Prevo coming around the final few corners shortly. Still on board with Thibaut Prevo. So in the pits then is Meyer, 15 seconds into his pit stop. This is where you cannot afford to make a mistake if you're Thibaut Prevo. Remember, Meyer's still got to do the pit limiter. I don't know how close this is going to be. There is Meyer. So Meyer still in the pit, still going to be there stationary for about, we think, 7 seconds or 5 more seconds now. Around the final corner we go. It will be flat out then for Prevo. And has Prevo put himself in a position to battle for that podium? Well, there we go. There is Meyer. And as Meyer still not on full throttle yet, past those green cones he will go. And how close is it going to be? Luxembourg car around the outside. Where's Meyer? Where is Meyer? Meyer might have just about held on. He has. Prevo is definitely caught up, though. Prevo has definitely caught up. So drivers such as Ward, Kirkipar might have been jumped here. So Prevo, remember, came into the pits from P7 as we head then up towards the line. Samuel Ward into the pits now for Sweden. Up towards turn number 1. Caruana still leading the way. Oh, this is good. This is fantastic stuff. It is very close between our top drivers battling for the race victory. Do they go side by side through this lap? Do they lose a significant amount of time and it gives an opportunity for Prevo? Does it give an opportunity for Meyer to potentially catch up? Remember, Meyer was right behind these when they decided to come in. He's going to have at least 1 lap on them in terms of the fresh rubber. You can see he's already made a bit of a gap on Prevo. You saw that just in the background. With only shy of 8 minutes left to go on the clock. Are these two still going to be battling for the lead by the time they've done their pit stops? I think they kind of have to bring the car in now. I think they have to. Would have been, a full lap around, then we will go up the hill through the left-hander, heading up towards the final couple corners. We've got the sweeping, the harsh left-hander, then we've got the sweeping right. Remember, Handel's just up ahead of them, but he's almost a lap down. None of them decide to come into the pits again. Well, okay. This is very interesting indeed. You kind of almost want them, if you're Meyer, you're hoping these two at the front are battling big time. You're hoping that they are absolutely going for it right now, but they're just not really. They're just playing it nice and safely. Well, actually, hold on. Sam Kei's just done a 25.4. We have to go on board with Meyer in a minute and see exactly what his lap time is, because this is his first full lap time. Samuel Ward comes out behind him, just behind him as well. And then you've got Prevo. So once he crosses the line, we'll see exactly what kind of lap time he's done on this first flyer and see whether indeed the tyres are up to temperature. Look how much Moot has lost, by the way. He's lost 3 positions so far because of the one little mistake he made. So up the hill we will come. And then we will head down in towards turn number 12. Now into 13. And we're looking for anything under a 25.4. Anything under a 25.4 here, ladies and gentlemen. The race win is on. The race win is absolutely on. Across the line we will go then for Anders Meyer. It's 25.3. Okay, right, so a slow in-lap, a potential slow out-lap, and there is an opportunity as Daniel Moot now goes fastest lap of the race. And they've got to bring it in. Yeah, there we go. So Sam Keitel is going to try the undercut on our race leader. So Keitel is in. Caruana stays out. Oh, slams on those brakes. Also in is Kirkipa, who was in from third position. Of course, we think he will drop down a fair chunk of time. So the pit stop here has to be quick. It has to be a 36. And then Caruana, I would imagine, brings it in straight away afterwards. There's no way he stays out much longer. There we go. It's official. You can't actually do the pit stop on the final lap of the race. So Caruana will have to do it either next lap or the lap after that. So here is your pit stop timers. We've got Prevo, who's catching up to Ward. Ward is right behind Meyer. So really, they don't want to push Meyer too much, because if Meyer loses a significant amount of time, then there's no chance of them all getting involved for the race victory. Keitel, 21 seconds in the pit so far. We think he's going to be in there for about 13 more seconds. Remember, he's right up the sharp end of the pit stop, so he won't be on a pit limiter for much longer because it's such a short run. Kirkipa, Schwartz now into the pits as well. Meyer, where is Meyer? Has he rounded that final corner? That's the big question. He is closing up very quickly indeed. How close would he get? I think you'll find that Keitel is going to get beaten here. He is going to get beaten. Anders Meyer is just about going to get the lead of this race, I think. Keitel has to adhere to the pit lane exit line, and the Norwegian does take the lead. We've got the long run then down towards turn number 3. And well, the McLaren is very quick in a straight line, but you know that BMW is absolutely going to my corner him. There's no chance in hell he's not going to try that. And well, Sam Keitel's got to hold it around the outside. Is he going to be able to? He will not be able to hold on. And now Samuel Ward, oh, he thinks about it. He thinks about a potential opportunity of making a move. It's not quite going to work out. And I tell you what, Caruana might have just been saved there by Keitel and Meyer battling. Meyer might be in a chance here of winning this race. Anders Meyer out of nowhere might be within a chance of winning this race. Caruana, how quick is your pit stop going to be? Keitel has got so much pressure from behind. He's got Ward and Prevo very close. And while Spa is a little bit more strung out this time round, it is far from it. This has been an exceptional race in the NEEM Championship. The Clash of Nations, oh, it has not failed to deliver here. So Meyer, 11 seconds back. Caruana, this will be the longest ever pit stop for him as we head up towards turn number 1. I tell you what, I think that Caruana's got him quite convincingly as well. As we head then round the first corner, how close will it be between the two of them? Well, there you go. There is Caruana. Remember, he has to adhere to that pit exit line. And well, it's a perfect pit stop then for the Brit. Although he has now got to get those tyres up to temperature. But Matt Caruana, well, he's righting all of the wrongs from last time round, where he went from pole position down to 5th spot. He managed to battle his way back up through and got some huge points, but ultimately wasn't able to pick up a victory. This time round, he's waited till the last second to get a pit stop in. But not only has he managed to get out in the lead, but he's ahead of Keitel, and he's got a car between the two of them. This is great for the United Kingdom in terms of the Clash of Nations Championship points. Meyer is going to bring some amazing points Norway's way. Unfortunately, it looks like Kjelvik might have disconnected though, so it's only one car. Sam Keitel may be picking up P3, although Ward, who has been so patient today, was hanging around P7 for pretty much the entirety of this race, but has come alive through the pit stop phase. Samuel Ward maybe looking to take advantage here of Keitel and get that P3. Prevo, who jumped up ahead of Moot in the pit stops. He came in the earliest out of everybody. The Luxembourg driver is going to get himself a top 5 with a couple of laps remaining. And you've got Kirkipa in 7th, Handel in 8th, who had to come in early due to a spin. How he's managed to get ahead of 3 different cars is pretty admirable, actually, albeit, again, Kjelvik did disconnect. Schwartz and Wilhelmsen are in your top 10. Oh, incredible stuff here as we look at the fastest lap. Then Anders Meyer does now have the fastest lap of this race. There are 2 laps to go. Can he catch up to Caruana? I'm not sure he can. I'm not sure that I think Caruana will have those tyres up to a decent temperature now. And if anything, you might need to watch out for Sam Keitel in behind. But this has been a fantastic race. It's been done in the right spirit. No one's been trying to take people off the circuit. Been absolutely phenomenal. Caruana still leading. We're going to get the white flag next time around as we get a lovely view of the group of cars behind. The BMW is very hungry for curbs. Eats the curbs up for breakfast. Absolutely loves it. 9/10 of a second, ironically. Caruana's got the biggest gap he's had all race long to P2. It will be just a different car. And I just think he's happy that it's a BMW behind him. Because BMW, the only place that we can really see a BMW make a move is via a corner. And it's just so difficult to overtake here in a straight line. I think the McLaren's got the BMW in terms of speed. Not sure he's got to be too worried about that. See the BMW now stalking that McLaren round the final corner. We will come. No one needs to come down that pit lane. You've got Sam Keitel with 1 lap remaining. Will be trying his level best to get up into P2. That is the battle, though. P2 is the battle for the final lap of this race. And Maya, I think you'll find, is going to be under some pressure. Kaito's about to get the fast lap, and he does. It's the first 24 of the race. It's a 24.6, and are people like Kaito now thinking, I should have come in a lot earlier. Getting those tyres on, getting a fresh set of tyres for the second stage of this race is probably the quicker way to go. And do you know what I like about this? Is that it was the complete opposite of Spa. And realistically, this means that they've got to do a lot more testing to figure out the best meta in terms of finishing the race higher up. It's a bit of a mistake there from Meyer. Goes in deep on entry. Sam Keitel, does he look for an opportunity? No, he does not. As we head then through turn at number 5, now 6. And as quickly as we go through 6, we end up towards 7. Sam Keitel with a bit more momentum runs the car out nice and wide, hits the apex beautifully well, coming up towards turn number 9. We've got a hairpin down here. It's a downhill braking zone. An opportunity potentially for Keitel, although he's not only got to get past the BMW, he's got to find a gap. The BMW is, of course, the bigger of the 2 cars. Now we're through turn number 10. We're up towards turn 11, sweeping through turn number 12. We've merely got ourselves 2 corners to go here of round 2 of the NEEM Clash of Nations Championship. Caruana rounds that final corner. He is led from start to finish. Didn't quite get pole position, but got into the lead up towards turn number 1 and has not looked back. Matt Caruana picking up that checkered flag for the United Kingdom. Congratulations to him. Meyer with the strategy of the day, picking up P2 for Norway. Norwegians will be going absolutely crazy. Sam Keitel backing up his P1 from round 1 with another podium and a P3. He'll be disappointed, but ultimately it's still big points for the Netherlands. You then got Samuel Ward, who's just had a very patient drive and got himself up into a top 4. Prevost, who was the first driver really to blink in terms of pit stops, the Luxembourg driver, and managed to gain a couple of spots by doing it on Moot and indeed Kirkipa. Moot came in, it looked like it was going to be a dream pit stop, but on the in-lap actually had a slowdown penalty, which cost him dearly. We then got Kirkipa, who just did his thing. Kirkipa, P7 for the Finn. Handel, who had a spin earlier in this race, came into the pits after the first 5 minutes, finishes in P8, probably the maximum, really, he could have expected after a spin. Schwartz and Wilhelmsen round out your top 10, and shout out to Kjelvik, who we think has disconnected from this race. But there's your round 2 winner, Matt Caruana in the McLaren. He's got that big United Kingdom flag on the top of his car. Look at it. It is in all its glory going around with that dark blue. Rule Britannia. Oh, beautiful stuff. I've got no favourites. I've got no favourites. So it looks like we've had it confirmed that Kjelvik has had a disconnect via hardware issues. So I'm sure we'll see him in round number 3. Norway, the governing body actually do choose their drivers. So Kjelvik has been trusted twice. I'm sure we'll see him being trusted for a 3rd time. Into the pits we go then for Caruana. No donuts, no burnouts. Come on. Come on, Matt. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Just moved to the... Oh, he could have turned right there, gone back on track and given us some donuts. Anyway, after 28 laps, here are your official race results. Matt Caruana picks up P1. Anders Meyer picks up P2. Sam Keitel is in 3rd. Samuel Ward is in 4th. Thibaut Prevost picks up 5th position. Daniel Moot picks up 6th. We've then got Kirkipa in 7th. Niels van Handel in 8th. Schwartz in 9th. And then we've got Wilhelmsen in 10th position. Kjelvik did not finish, unfortunately. So that is your classified results. Wow, incredible stuff there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at how you can get yourselves involved if you're watching at home right now. If you want to come and get yourself involved in September, that's the next time you have a chance to sign up. This is a GT4 championship. There's 8 nations, 6 rounds, and there's 12,500 euros in big cash to win. That is a lot of beers, my friends. That is a lot of beers indeed. Each and every month, we have ourselves a time attack which, of course, we've had round 1 and round 2 now. In September, it's the 11th to the 24th. If you are indeed the top 2 in your nation, you will qualify for Tier 1, which will be broadcasted on September the 30th. Round 4 will be in October, November, and December. Of course, we've got rounds as well. And basically, anybody can qualify to be racing for their nation. The top 50 in the time trials per nation will pick up some cash. Check out the breakdown of the cash then for our drivers. So again, this is just for placing in the top 50 in your nation, right? 1,250 euros per nation. You're not battling against Matt Caruana if you're not from the United Kingdom. You're not battling against Maya if you're not from Norway. You are not battling against Sam Keiter if you're not from the Netherlands. So if you're from Iceland, if you're from Finland, those countries, get yourselves involved. There is plenty of cash on offer. Just be in the top 50, you win yourself 10 euros. So it is as easy as that. Let's check out the socials then and where you can indeed get signed up. If you want to go get signed up, go to neem.gg. So neem.gg, ladies and gentlemen, that is where you can get signed up. Go follow neem.gg on Instagram. They're posting reels about the races all the time, which is pretty cool, although you do have to hear my voice, which sucks. Make sure you follow on Twitch as well, neem_gg. It's free to follow on Twitch. Indeed, on Twitter as well, neem_gg. On TikTok, I'm over the age of 30, so I'm not legally allowed to understand TikTok, but it's neem.gg regardless. And on YouTube, it's neem_gg. We're going to be back on September the 30th. Remember, the qualifying opens for the next round on September the 11th to September the 24th. Neem.gg to get signed up. That was round 2 of the Northern European Esports Masters. I've been Luke Crane, and I will catch you for month 3 in September.